Hey everyone, it's Matt again. I'm just doing another replay analysis for a guy who was asking for help in the Ozdotes page. He was about 2k and he's dropped a few hundred MMR since the last patch, and I just thought I'd have a quick look over his gameplay and go over the stuff that I noticed. He's playing an Antimage, but because of the way he picks it, he ends up in the Offlane. I find it useful to click on like where I want to go pretty early on if you're planning on playing a carry, but in this situation where you've already got a Clinks and a PA, unless the PA is signaling mid and you want to play a core, maybe pick a mid hero, because the Clinks and the PA are likely going to be in the side lanes, or the PA might go mid. So yeah, maybe not the best pick in this game, but I still think you could have made it work. I'll skip ahead to start of the game. Cool, so I mean I don't have really a real issue with your starting items, they seem fine to me. I'm going to watch this in your player perspective because that's what I did when I pre-watched this, and I think there was some stuff to learn from that as well. I wouldn't go here next to the rune, like they can still, if they're early enough, they can still see you up there. If you want to hide, I'd hide in the rush pit, and just let your person who's on top of the hill here scout for people. But whatever, that's a minor thing, this is fine. You haven't skilled anything, I don't think, yet, which is good. You want to hold points in case you can like grab the rune and get a blink and escape or something. But I would have left there as well. It was a fine decision, you just want to scout it out, see who's there, try to get the rune if you can. Then you go to block, this is all good stuff. So you're with a Witch Doctor, and it looked like you ran into, who'd you run into? Bloodseeker and Venge? Void and Venge. We'll see in a second, yeah, Void and Venge. So obviously they have a little bit more utility in the lane, but not a whole lot. Like Witch Doctor's, pretty similar to Venge. A little bit less harass without the wave. But yeah, you're just, so basically in this lane, you're trying to just survive and get as much farm as you can. So your Stout Shield is a good start. Wow, this player perspective means I don't see your items if I click anywhere different. Yeah, doing good. I wouldn't have skilled Mana Break first unless you were going to be getting some good last hits off. The first thing I noticed when I was watching this is your camera position. It's interesting to watch other people's games because you don't always see how they use their camera, but like, look where the bottom of it is. Half the time you can't even see the Venge here, and when they're going your hero like that, you need to identify to start hitting them. Since you have gone Mana Break, this is free hits you could be getting off. Once they start fighting here and looking like they're going to go, you should be running down and helping, because they're not going to try to fight you at this point, they're going for a kill, right? So you can be hitting the Void, hitting the Venge, hitting the Venge, hitting the Venge. She's tanking creeps here. You could get 3, maybe 4 attacks off on her. You went for the Void, which is okay, but look at your camera position again, it's so odd to me. You can't even see what the Venge is doing, whether he's retreating or not. Just take a little more care with your last hits as much as you can. Because every last hit you can get in a lane like this is precious, right? Because you're not going to be getting free farm. So you've really got to focus, even though if you're on tilt a little bit because you didn't get the lane you wanted. So this is good. Having your camera down here is necessary. You don't need to be watching your hero. You can be watching like this. You know where your hero is. Just bring them up to here and then look what they're doing. The ideal position for me, if I'm trying to farm, is... wait till you get into the lane. You pick up boots here, which is okay. Either I probably would have gone for a poor man's shield or saved for a Ring of Regen. Maybe the poor man's, just because Venge is going to be harassing you so much. And you've still got a Tango and a Salve. You don't particularly need boots because you've got Blink. And you're not, I'd just be trying to get your last hits. If they decide to go on you, you can blink out. The only real benefit is, I guess, is if Void's trying to chase you down after he time walks you, but you're going to get slowed from that anyway. So at 3 here, I think you go another point in Mana Break, and I definitely would have gone Spell Shields just because of the damage from Void's Bash is magical, so that's 50 damage that you can reduce every time he bashes you by 26%. Also, the Venge's Stun is magical, the Venge's Wave is pure, sorry, but yeah, you got magical damage here that you can resist, and if you look at how it scales, 1 point of it is so much value. It's half the percentage of 4 points. So it's why you see a lot of pro anti-mage players go like 1-1-1, like the burning build. They go 1 in each and then stats, or you go 1 in each and then max your blink. Because ideally you want to be farming, not fighting on anti-mage anyway, so these two should only be taken as sort of like value points, maybe like 1 or 2, like 2 in mana break, maxing your blink so that if you use it to escape and the guy jumps on you again, you can juke and then blink out again, or if you use it to initiate fight, then you've got it up again soon. It's just reducing that cooldown is really important. And also once it gets to the point where you're farming jungle, you want to have as low a cooldown as possible. You did alright here, you over blinked a little bit on this Venge, but you're doing the right thing here. When the Void's fighting your Witch Doctor, you're doing what I was talking about before and attacking the support. And he gets a bash on you there. So at this point I'll probably just be saving for your regen, but yeah, I mean your Boots decision might be right, but look how much damage you're taking here. If you had Spell Shield it would be so much benefit. And I think I missed a point, but you've just got to watch out. There was a particular point I watched, I think I might have missed it already, where you tank creep damage a lot. And in this sort of lane, your health is really precious because they can go on you. They've got stun and the jump and time lock. Like if the Venge stuns you when the Void's close, like if you're both farming close to each other, the Venge stuns you and starts hitting you and you blink out, the Void can jump and follow you, and then he's trying to chase you down. So you need to, if you're low, that'll kill you. So you've got to try your best to stay at high health pool, which was why Spell Shield is useful and why not tanking creep hits is very valuable. There's a few times, well there was one time in particular I saw where they had 2 range creeps and they both attacked you about 4 times. So it's 4 hits from a range, so 8 total hits from a range creep while you were just standing in here farming. And you just got to remember to hold, right click or hold A and click on one of your creeps to cancel. See there as well, like. You run up to get that last hit. Again, these are minor things, but it's important. You can keep backing up here. It's not going to kill the tower, the creep just yet. And then I don't think you can even get that, so I wouldn't stress about it. I would just not be taking the damage. Yeah. Last hit's here. You cancel aggro. It's good. And you get that one. Let's just see if there's any more examples of it. He stunned the creep there, which I think was just his muck up. And again, you're going to maxing mana break. Getting points and stats here, or getting points and blink is heaps more value in my opinion. Because points and stats helps you live, gives you more armor and more health in your lane where you're trying to survive and get as much farm, and then your blink is useful, like it'll come in at extra time sometime soon. I remember noticing a point where having an extra like a lower cooldown and blink would have let you live, I think. You're doing good here, you're not taking creep damage. Speed this up. Get your Ring of Health. Picking up a magic wand is also pretty value against Venge, because he's spamming Wave of Terror all the time. Doctors left, which is kinda rough. The other thing to keep in mind is whether you can transition out of a lane. If you get the opportunity, like if your safe lane farmer decides to bugger off somewhere else and they leave the safe lane free, that can be a really good opportunity for you to go and get some easy farm, because you obviously can't really go to the jungle at this point, but you could potentially be farming up here, grabbing a TP. These guys are all rotating down. You don't really add too much to a fight, or once you do. So get your ulti off on the Void probably here. There you go, a bit late, but if you did that earlier, when you had the chance to do it, like way back here, they could have started transitioning. Like if you just bang, ultied him, don't know why you're not doing it, and then they can transition on here, dagger the Venge, and potentially kill him as well. So here I would just be straight TPing top. You don't need to be pushing with your team and competing for farm. You're always looking for free lanes as anti-mage. It's like main job is to be farming a lane where nobody is and pushing it out. Or static farming it if that's what you need to do at that time. Here, I would have blinked out. You're still going to take damage for it, but I know you probably just panic. It often happens when you get prop shit, you just freak out and do your first instinct, which is to try to TP, but if you blinked into here, I reckon the Void has to guess, and if he guesses wrong, or if you do it after he jumps, then you get a free TP out, and you're not risking the chance of what happens here, which is he gets a lucky bash on you, but you can counter for luck with good play. Yeah, as you complaining about it. So if you had have left earlier, you wouldn't have got killed, and you would have had all this free farm. There's been 3 or 4 waves here, which maybe 5 or 6, it was actually up here when no one was farming it, that no one in your team has farmed. And now you're heading straight back bot again. It's like you're stuck in the mindset that you belong in that lane, even though people have rotated out of lanes already and started moving around the map. I think this is the point where where the extra points in Blink would have kept you alive, the bit I was talking about earlier. So you blink in here on the Venge. At this point, you're not going to kill him, right? You know, okay, he's outrunning me. You can, even if you don't know his items, you don't know that he has Mata Boots, you can still know. You can still figure out from that first second that you're not going to chase him down because you're running like the same speed, or he's running quicker than you. Oh, well, whatever. You're 15 faster than him, but you're not going to kill him here. Just back up. But you commit too deep. And if your cooldown, if you had 4 seconds less on your blink, you could have blinked out here. Blinked up to your back to tower and lived. But instead you have 3 useless points in mana break. Well, not useless, but they could be used more effectively. Your PA is much more useful at fighting at this point in the game than you are. So if he is down here doing this stuff, and you are up here farming, it's much better overall scheme of things for your team. And if you were in that lane first, when it was free, he's probably not going to come to it and start competing with you for it. He'll probably go elsewhere and farm or fight if he's any good. Also, because you're dying and because you're TPing back to lanes, you're wasting all this precious gold that you need for your Battle Fury and your treads on TPs. And of course, deaths. Like I said, not dying, just living and getting as much gold as you can is the big priority when you're having to do something unfavorable, like playing Antimage in the offlane. It's not like playing a solo offlane Timber or something like that, where you're trying to just get as much levels as you can, and if you die once or twice, it's not the end of the world, as long as you're putting pressure on their enemy and keeping their supports in the lane. It's different when you're playing a hero like this. You're trying not to die and to get as much farm as possible. So here, this is all just in a time where you're not doing anything. This lane's free, you could be pushing it. You could be rotating back and forward between small camps here and this camp, getting farm. But you're with 3 or 4 other heroes, trying to compete for farm under tower and fight the other team. It's not what you want to be doing as Antimage. Sort of figure that out here and go to the jungle, but you can't farm creeps yet. Also, I probably should have mentioned this ages ago, I did think about it when I was watching it, but you haven't picked up a quelling, which is really important for Antimage. Your next 2 priority items should be treads and a quelling. Let's see where you go. I can't remember. And then you start doing all this stuff. I don't know whether you're like raging at your team or if something's going on outside of Dota, but you're not buying items, you're stopping and like doing nothing, AFKing, standing next to creeps, but like it's all intermittent. To me, it doesn't look like either you've got someone over your shoulder yelling at you or being annoying, or you're just raging at your team, which is not really that useful. You're still completely in this game. Like, you're not that far behind. Yeah, 5k. Completely salvageable with your lineup. Sitting here trying to farm under a deep row isn't ideal. You still don't have a single point in spell shield. Just because it doesn't do damage doesn't mean it's not valuable. You wouldn't have died here if you had a point in spell shield. So if you were raging at your team there, maybe you don't just think about whether you're doing everything that you need to be doing right before you start getting pissy at your own team. I'm just assuming here. Of course, you might not have been, and I'm not saying I'm a saint either. Where are you going here? So you're TPing. I don't like this TP. You can run and like look where you TP to. It's such a short distance, and it's a waste of gold. It's two blinks. And it's sorry, I'm slowing down instead of speeding up. And you don't even farm this. I just don't understand your farming patterns. It's so inefficient. And then you muck around for a while, and you finally come out here, get like 2 last hits, and then you're pushing into a tower, and their team turns up, and you have to back off again. Like, you could have farmed this, worked your way up to here, this free lane miles away from anybody, mid such a hotly contested area in these kind of games, and it's a lot easier to fall off if they turn up here, to just fall back to these easy camps. Maybe a medium camp, wait for them to push the lane out, and then get too scared to push any further, and then go back to it, push it out again. It's a bit scary to do that down here against their team, because Bloodseeker is an issue for you. He's a big problem for anti-mages, especially when you're under-farmed. But, I mean, I played anti-mage just last game. You can beat Bloodseeker. It's like, you just have to know what to do against it. You have to just stay calm, use your blinks and TP outs effectively. Again, you're TPing here to help fights. It's not what you need to be doing. You're not an Earthshaker, you're an anti-mage. You need to be getting your farm on. And you're pushing a wave out into a tower. And did you see that TP? If you saw that TP, then if you had your camera in the right place, you would have seen it. Again, so this is a camera position thing. You don't need to be looking up here. You don't need your camera in this space. Like, you're not seeing anything you don't know about. When you're this close to a tower, especially just after you've got a kill, I think someone was talking about it in the comments of your post. If you get a kill in a lane, people are going to look at it and they'll be like, hey, I can kill that guy. You want your camera with you in the corner so that you can see your last hits. God, man, it's all slow and laggy. But yeah, watching down here, watching for TPs, watching for that, you know, blink out. Blink. As soon as you see that TP, you're gone. There's no excuse for dying there. It's just another unnecessary death. You don't need to be getting 5 kills by this point. You just need to not be getting 5 deaths and farming as much as you can. Where are you? You're here. You have a third of the Void's farm, and I'm not saying you should be the same or higher than him. I'm saying you should be closer than that if you had to have played this properly. So I think that's like the main parts that I really noticed. I think at this point you're pretty behind. And here, you're just sitting in your base AFK. I don't know. You're kind of pushed into this position where it's kind of hard to find anywhere to farm now because they're not scared of you guys at all. And your space to farm is like drastically reduced. But you still have some wards up. So you've still got a bit of vision and your jungle is still relatively available to you. Getting Battle Fury is important, but quelling is more important and treads is more important. You would be farming quicker overall if you had treads and a quelling and then got your Battle Fury after that. It also increases your survivability, so you can chuck it onto strength treads and not die to stuff like the here where you died to being waved by Deepro, and maybe you can survive a chrono and blink out. It's especially when you're behind. But I'm pretty like just about in every game. I don't see why you'd go Battle Fury before treads. You need the treads before the Battle Fury actually really starts speeding up your farm anyway. Ulti someone. Get them when they're together. Did you click his mana? Was he full? Yeah, he was pretty much full. If you ulti this guy, if you blink here, You had blink up. If you blink, ulti the Deeper, that's double kill. And he's got invis actually. I didn't realize he had a Shadow Blade. Anyway. Let's just quickly go through the rest of this game. If you spend more time focusing on your own game, like I say, I'm just assuming based on all this stuff what you were doing, and just doing the best you can. Just like pick a carry, just use the minimal amount of communication you need to with your team. Call missing from your lane, ask for help when you need it, but just do your own thing, and be playing your best game that you can play. And you're not going to win every game, but you're going to win those middle ones where you can make the difference. Yeah, I think that's about. This is why I lose games, because my team gives up at 10 minutes and just spam GG. Okay, maybe that's what you were talking about. You were telling them not to give up. Maybe you were being the heroic one. But yeah, I don't know. It's probably not worth doing at the cost of missing several waves of farm and dying. Cool. I hope you found this helpful. Hopefully I wasn't too harsh on you. Cool. If you've got another game that you're interested in me doing, I could have a look at it if you want. If you didn't think this was a good representation, I just wanted to pick a game where you lost rather than one where you stopped. I think it's more valuable to look at losses. Alright, cheers.